Hello, I am Channavan Kapur. I'm going to discuss my solution to the lead code problem, house robber third. It's today's daily challenge in lead code. The problem definition is we have a thief here who is trying to rob a bunch of houses in an area, and the entrance to the area is called root. There is a house there, and all the houses are connected in the form of a binary tree. Right? So there are actually two other problems before this called house robber and house robber second. The premise of all these problems are among these bunch of houses, the house robber obviously wants to rob as much money as possible, and each house has some money stashed in there, and the robber knows about that part, right? How much money each house has. So he wants to rob as many as possible, or actually as much amount as possible, but with a constant. So in this particular third version, the constant is if two houses are directly connected by an edge in the binary tree, they cannot be robbed. If they rob it, there is going to be an alert for the police. So the robber does not want to do that, right? So how can the robber, maximize the amount of money he can rob without alerting the police, right? Um, so the solution is dynamic programming, and also the solutions to the previous two problems are also dynamic programming. By the way, there is a playlist called Backtracking and Dynamic Programming Concepts and Solutions I have created that has solutions to a bunch of DP solutions. And incidentally, House Rubber 2, which is just previous to that, was also one of the daily challenges sometime back on October 14th. So I have solved that, and I have explained the dynamic programming solution in a detailed way with slides and all. Please refer to that. That's going to give a good idea of how to solve this problem, right? But yeah, let me. The only difference between House Rubber 2 and House Rubber 3 is there it was an array of forces or a row of forces, so they are connected to previous one and the next one. But here it's in the form of a tree, right? That's the difference, right? And we can access these houses through that tree pointers itself, right? So as usual, a root is going to have two pointers, which is to the left and to the right, and that's how we need to access them, right? So we have access to the root here. How do we solve this one, right? So if you see a couple of examples here, sometime root could be part of the optimal solution. So in this first example, there are five houses, and the optimal solution involves the root and two houses here which are at the level 2, right? If root is at level 0, these are at level 2. And if you look at the other example, so the root is not part of the optimal solution, but the houses in the second level are actually level 1 are part of the optimal solution, right? So it's not guaranteed that root is always part of the solution. It could be, or it may not be, right? So let's come up with a logic, an exhaustive logic, and see whether we can stumble upon a dynamic programming solution. So the way I'm going to approach is we want to solve for this root, right? To starting with root, actually the whole tree. So the whole tree kind of is represented by root. All right. So that's what I call it as f of root. So this is going to give me the final optimized answer, right? So the optimal value actually, which is the amount of money the thief can rob at the maximum. So here the thief has now two choices. Either he can skip the first house, which is root, or he may rob that one, right? So that leads to two possibilities, and these two possibilities cover every other possibilities going forward. So without the root and with the root. If the robber does not rob the root, then obviously he has to solve for root dot left and root dot right. That means, so now the problems are he is going to approach that left subtree and right subtree independently, and so there is no restriction of whether root dot left should be robbed or not, because the parent is not robbed, right? So we need to just solve for these two sub problems, and some of them is going to be the answer. On the other hand, if the robber, the thief the robs the root, so the value of the root, which is root dot val, is going to be the amount he's going to get. Along with that, he needs to rob the remaining. But because he has robbed already the root, he won't be able to rob the left and right children directly, right? So he has to skip them. So that's why we need to solve for the problems even below that. So that's if left exists, right? If left child exists, then he's going to solve for problem of root dot left and root dot left dot right, right? So and then another case is if at all the root dot right exists, then he's going to solve for root dot right dot left, and similarly root dot right dot right. So these are the four subproblems we need to solve, right? Because all of them exclude directly left and right, because root is part of the solution, right? So these four subproblems we solve depending on whether left and right exists. So if left exists, we solve these two subproblems. If right exists, we solve these two subproblems, right? So that's how we're going to get. And what should be the base case? So if you see anywhere here, it might be null also. Root could be null or anything could be null. So null is a base case here. So f of a null tree is going to be 0 because there are no houses, and obviously is not going to rob anything, right? And any other cases, even if it's a leaf node, we don't have an issue because leaf node is going to anyway call the left one, which is going to have null and null, so which is going to be 0. On the right side, root is involved here, but because left and right does not exist, it's only root value. So that's how for a leaf node the answer is just the value of the node, which is anyway covered in this recurrence. All right. So the recurrence, let me write it once again clearly. So f of root, let me just write it in short form. F of yeah, f of r, which is refers to root, is going to be the max of, because this is max of these two possibilities. It's going to be max of two possibilities. One is without the part without, which is essentially going to be f of root dot left plus f of root dot right, right? These are the two things. And so other case is it's going to be a little more complicated here. So let me start with root dot val plus, these are the parts. So in this first part here, f of root dot left plus f of root dot left dot right, if root dot left is not equal to null, right? And similarly, f of root dot right dot left plus f of root dot right. Um, so in this case, yeah. So in this case, if root dot right is not equal to null, all right. So this is the recurrence, and clearly this is the base case. F of null is equal to 0, right? We just have to implement this one. And if you observe, there's going to be overlapping subproblems because we are solving. Look at these deeper problems. And in this case, when I solve for say root dot left and root dot right, I'm going to get the problems of root dot left and root dot right of right dot right. So these are going to be overlapping already. So because of overlapping subproblems, it is better to use a memoization, at least here. So when I use memoization, the idea is I'm not going to solve a problem multiple times. What is a problem here? The problem is identified by a root, reference, right? Like a root pointer. So that's why I'm going to memoize on that root pointer. So when I call f of root, I just make sure whether it is already solved for that particular root. If it is not solved, then only I'm going to solve it and then remember in a table. So I'm going to use a table. But the form of the table is not going to be as easy as a vector or a two-dimensional vector or something like that. So I'm going to use some kind of map, like a hash map or something like that, where I'm going to map based on the key, which is going to be the pointer, a root pointer, and the value is going to be the optimal value for that whole subtree. All right. So that's the memoization I use. And making it bottom up is going to be difficult. That's why a classical dynamic programming solution won't be possible here as easily. But I'm going to just settle on the memoization solution itself. All right. So that's the approach. Let me show my solution here. So yeah, we needed to implement with the rob of root. Because I need a table here, I'm going to use an helper function called memoize. So the table is just a map. I'm using unordered map, which is essentially a hash table. So the key is a pointer to a tree node, and the int value is going to be the value which is the optimal value, right? The amount the robber can rob from that subtree, right? And so I'm calling for root dot table, and then look at this. This is the base case. Which if root is null, I'm going to return null, zero. Otherwise, if root is not null, I see whether it is solved or not. If it is solved, this indicates it is solved already. If the count of that root is greater than zero, that means it has to be one. In that case, it is solved, and I'm going to return directly. Otherwise, I need to solve it recursively. Look at the without path is simple here. So in without path, I just call for memoirs of left and memoirs of right. For the with path, to start with, I'm going to include root val. And if left exists, I'm going to call with root dot left and root dot right dot left dot right. So these two, I'm going to add it to that with root value. Similarly, for the right side also, I do that. And finally, the answer for this, memoirs of root is going to be the max of these two possibilities, with and without, right? So that I'm going to update in the table and then return the value, so that it does not have to be solved, again. All right. So this is memoization, and this should work very quickly. Let's submit and then make sure it works. Right? It has accepted. All right. If you're wondering what is the time complexity of this, the time complexity is, look at this. We call this memorize function once per every node, which is going to execute this part, right? So that means this part executes exactly for big O of n number of times, n being the number of nodes. And this part could be little more. So the number of leaves, null pointers we need to figure out, and also the number of times we hit this case, right? So those are not more than linear. Actually, the number of null pointers is also linear. That can be proved by some tree property. So that's why that's another big O of n. And the number of times we're going to hit this is also going to be a linear. So that is going to be another linear. So overall, it takes linear time. So this is all about time. And space wise, we use table here. And if you see here, we only memorize for a valid root node. So there are big of n number of nodes. So this is the space we need for the table. But there is a recursion here, so we need stack space also. So depth of the tree is what we need, but depth of the tree is also going to be limited by big of n. So the overall space is still big of n. So this works in linear time and linear space. All right. So let me know if you're solved using any other way. Otherwise, please take a look at this playlist. So there are other problems, and more importantly, house rubber too. If you haven't actually gone through my approach, take a look at that. That will give you a better idea, right? I have used a detailed way of solving that. If you see here in the diagram itself, I'm already kind of indicating how to use memoization and how to make it bottom up and all those things. All right. So yeah, if it looks good, um, please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching.